Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Wells Fargo uh, one of the biggest banks, like the top five or so? It probably says in this article. Oh yeah, third biggest bank by assets. Does that include garbage assets like toxic, foreclosed mortgages, or? But anyways, Wells Fargo to close 450 branches. Now that doesn't sound right for one of the too big to fail banks, number 3 by assets. To improve efficiency, the nation's third largest bank by assets will prune its expansive branch network. Wells Fargo has long been known among analysts and commentators as one of the nation's most efficient banks. As a result, when its efficiency started to slip recently, the bank responded by announcing initiatives to cut annual expenses by $4 billion by the end of 2019. Part of that initiative is to prune its branch network. At the end of the second quarter, Wells Fargo operated the largest branch network in the United States, with 5,977 locations. That's meaningfully more than the bank with the second highest number of branches, JP Morgan, with 5,217 locations. So it's speaking of that branch count from most to least, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, US Bancorp, and PNC Financial. Wells Fargo is already making progress on this goal. During the first 6 months of this year, it closed 93 branches, including 54 in the second quarter. It's now on track to close a total of 200 branches this year, and it plans to close an additional 250 branches in 2018. But shareholders shouldn't expect savings to follow immediately as well to Wells Fargo's bottom line. As CEO Timothy Sloan noted on the bank's second quarter conference call, there are minimal immediate savings recognized from branch closures due to the initial closing costs. So therefore, most of the expense benefit from the 200 branches we closed this year will not be realized until next year. Well, I'm thinking of something that Lindsay said a long time ago, Lindsay Williams, back when, again, the good, accurate dude, Ken Fromm, was around. And Ken said, ultimately, you're going to have between 6 and 10, 8, 9, 10 banks to choose from. It'll be the too big to fails. It'll be the big ones. So when I look at Wells Fargo and see them closing down branches, it's kind of odd, isn't it? Unless they're getting ready to close down those branches because they're going to be buying out or merging some smaller and medium-sized banks. Remember what JP Morgan said earlier this year? We recommend that smaller and medium-sized banks start merging. Why do they need to merge? Have a little liquidity problem later in the year, something along those lines. So we recommend you merge now, so you have the cash flow that you need. Stand by. 1 second, let me pause this. So anyways, I mean, are they gearing up? If that was the case, you would think JP Morgan for certain would also be closing some branches, gearing up to take over. If anything, well, I mean, I'm thinking if they take over branches, they can just simply take the sign off the building and put their JP Morgan sign up there. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. While Wells Fargo isn't alone in its decision to prune its branch network, Bank of America has been shuttering banks for years, as has JP Morgan Chase. Really? So here we go. Why are they all shuttering branches? Maybe because, again, maybe they've realized, because remember, if you're at the top of these big banks, and let's say what Lindsay Williams' friend back in the day, who's been very accurate, says it's correct, which is they're going to merge, big bank, eat little bank, big bank, eat medium bank. They're already going to know what banks around their locations, branches, what other companies' banks are there, and they're going to determine, do we want to take that one over? And if so, it's a bigger one, it's whatever, it's in a better spot than ours is, we're going to go ahead and close ours down because we're going to be taking that one over in the future. Now that may be what we're seeing here. We just haven't seen it play out yet as far as fully. So they're going to close down the branches that they've realized we've got competition around here that we're going to be gobbling up in the future. So we might as well go ahead and close down our branches now, right? Again, they always do stuff in advance. So I'm just wondering, is this potentially one of those things? So It remains to be seen. Take care.